Hello, good morning, or good evening. Whenever you're watching this, I hope you are doing well. My name is Catherine, and today let's do my April reading wrap up. In the month of April, I was in a little bit of a reading slump. I did read quite a few books, however, I only read 2 of them physically. The rest were audiobooks, and it was a very different month. You'll see in a moment. Let's talk about my stats. So I did read a total of 15 books. Awesome. Again, 2 of those were physical books, the rest were audio. I had an average rating of 3.7 stars, which is pretty good. Genre-wise, I read 10 adult romances. I was just in such a romance mood, y'all. I read 2 YA contemporaries. I read only 1 YA fantasy. I don't know who I am. I feel like I'm losing my identity. I also read 1 thriller / mystery, I guess is what it would classify as. Yeah, mystery thriller. Again, I've never done that before. And I read 1 adult dystopian. So let's just get into the books, because obviously things were a little bit different this month than usual. First of all, 9 of the books that I read were Sarah MacLean books, so her historical romance books. I just really got into her books this month, and I decided to read all of them. I have in the past months, I've read her Love by Numbers series, which still is one of my favorite series by her, and I read the start of the Bare Knuckle Bastard series. So let's just talk about her books first. First, I finished the Bare Knuckle Bastard series. I started off with the second one because I read the first one last month, and that is Brazen and the Beast. I gave this one 5 stars. It was so good. This one follows Hattie, who has just turned 29, and she's declared 29 is the year of Hattie. She is going to do everything she's always wanted to do, but isn't really allowed to do because she's a lady. And she is determined to make this year the year that she takes over the shipping business that her father has. However, that gets pushed aside when she encounters Beast, aka Wit. I love him so much, who is one of the Bare Knuckle Bastards. It turns out that her brother may have gotten the shipping business into some bad into a bad situation with the Kings of Covent Gardens, aka the Bare Knuckle Bastards. So she has to fix that, and also she enlists Beast's help to make this the year of Hattie. I love this romance. I just feel like the 2 of them had such great chemistry. Also, I love that Hattie is plus sized, and I love just the way that she was talked about, and the way her being plus size definitely affected how she was seen in society, but also she was just so strong and so independent. I love the books that have the independent ladies taking control of their lives. Those are definitely my favorites. Then I read the 3rd book in Bare Knuckle Bastards, which is Daring and the Duke. This one I didn't actually like as much. I just didn't love the relationship in it. I only gave it 3 stars. This follows Grace, who is the 3rd Bare Knuckle Bastard, and Ewan, the Duke of Maverick. This is a second chance romance type deal. There's a lot of miscommunication in this one. Basically, they are kind of step siblings, not really step siblings. There's a lot. It's hard to explain without having read the other 2 books. It was good, but I didn't love Ewan. I just felt like he was too controlling. I don't like the controlling guys. I want them to be soft for our heroine. That's just who I am. That's what I like in a romance. And I don't like it when they're too controlling. Not my jam. I only gave it 3 stars. I still enjoyed it though. I really enjoyed just the overall Bare Knuckle Bastards series. I think that and the Love by Numbers are my favorites. I then went into the Rules for Scoundrel series, and when I started this one, I realized that Sarah MacLean's books all take place in the same universe, so some of the side characters from past series end up being main characters and love interests in the later books. So I actually highly recommend not reading them in the order that I read them, because there's definitely little hints to things and also kind of spoilers for past books. So I recommend reading them in published order. Alas, I did not do that, but that's fine. Rules for Scoundrels. This one definitely was probably my least favorite of the Sarah MacLean series. This entire series follows the 4 kind of owners of this like very popular but exclusive men's club called the Fallen Angels. It's about 4 people who were fallen from society. So you have Bourne, and Penelope is in the first one, which is a rogue by any other name. I have my notes because I know I can't remember all the names of these books because they're all very similar. I'll be real. Penelope and Bourne knew each other as children. Bourne ended up getting the title of Duke, I think, maybe. Anyway, he like basically forces Penelope to marry him. But Penelope has always kind of been in love with him. It's a whole thing. It was good. I thought that, again, he was too controlling. Didn't love that. I ended up giving it 3 stars. The second one is One Good Earl Deserves Another. I gave it 4 stars. I thought this one was really, really sweet. It is about Penelope's sister Philippa and another member of the Fallen Angel, Cross. I just think that they are very sweet, and she just is like super smart. I loved her. I loved Cross like encouraging her to like pursue like everything because he's also like super smart and good with numbers. I don't know, I just like a smart couple. I always dig that. Then we got No Good Duke Goes Unpunished. This one I ended up only giving 2 stars. I did not like this one. It went way too close into Bridgerton territory for me. Follows Temple, who is known as the Killer Duke. Basically everyone thinks that he killed this girl, but no one can really prove it because there's never like a body, and he has no memory of that night, and it turns out that the girl was supposed to like marry his father because, you know, aristocratic society kind of messed up like that. And the girl that he supposedly killed, Mara, she shows up. I didn't love their relationship. I felt, again, it was very like controlling and like very like blackmail-y, which I just did not dig. Overall, it was just not my jam. They're like chemistry or whatever, I don't know. I didn't think they really had that much chemistry. And the final book in that series is Never Judge a Lady by Her Cover. This one follows the like mysterious owner of the Fallen Angel, Chase, and I can't really say too much more without spoiling a lot, but it's a good time. And this is one of the books, this one and the first one for sure, you have to have read like the Love by Numbers series in order to like really understand what's happening. So I recommend reading Love by Numbers because that one is one of my favorites. Finally, I read the 3 books in the Scandal and Scoundrels. Try saying that 5 times fast. The Scandal and Scoundrels series. So that one started out with, oh wait, I actually own this one. I like found a bunch of her books at a used bookstore. I started getting them. Anyway, The Rogue Not Taken. What was this one even about? Oh my god, that's right. Okay, this one was a lot of fun. I gave it 4 stars. It follows Sophie, who her family is kind of seen as society climbers. Her father was given a dukedom, an earldom, a dukedom. I don't know. Earls, dukes, marquesses, they all kind of blend together for me. Something high in society. Her father was given a dukedom very recently, so like they earned the title. They weren't just born into the title. And the family is kind of seen as social climbers, so they aren't well received. Sophie ends up punching her brother-in-law and pushing him into a lake because she catches him cheating on her sister. And all of the town sees, so she runs away and finds herself in the carriage of the Marquess of Eversley. He's like a known rogue, a known rake, as they are always in these books. They're super cute. There was like a little bit of a miscommunication thing that happened towards the end that I just didn't feel like was necessary, but like that's fine. It was still a really good time. It had like some fun road trip elements into it. And I just really like the way that their overall relationship developed. So I give this one 4 stars. The second one is Scott in the Dark, which I also ended up giving 4 stars. This one follows Lillian Hargrove, who doesn't actually have a title, but she is the ward of a duke, aka the Duke of Warwick, who didn't even know that he had a ward because he was like 17th in line for the dukedom and accidentally comes into it. And he's Scottish, so he like doesn't really want to hang out with the English because the Scots are seen as like uncivilized or whatever. But when she ends up falling for someone who takes advantage of her, like, being unattended and like paints a nude portrait, I know, and is going to show it to the Ton. There's a lot of like social commentary in this one, which I think is like actually really fun. Anyway, Duke of Warnock, he ends up having to come in and like rescue her. He never really wanted this job. Obviously, they're drawn to each other. It's a little weird because, you know, she's technically his ward, but like they just met, so it's not like super weird. It could be weird. I had a good time with it, and I thought that they had really good chemistry. 4 stars. And finally, my last Sarah MacLean book that I read was The Day of the Duchess. What was this one even about? Oh, okay. So this one was another second chance romance. I ended up giving it 4 stars as well. I wasn't too sure going into it because the past second chance romance, the one in the whatever Scoundrels, Rules of Scoundrels series, I didn't love. This one was really cool because it follows, so remember like 2 books ago how Sophie punched her brother-in-law? So it's about those two, the brother-in-law and the sister, so Seraphina and Malcolm Bravingstrok. I'm gonna be real in terms of these historical romances. Sometimes they like go by their title and people just call them their title, and then they also have their like real name. I always get confused because I'm like, wait, what's their actual name? Is their name Bourne? No, he's just the Duke of Bourne. Anyway, Malcolm Bravingstrok, they have a bit of a falling out because he thinks that she just like captured him in order to get a dukedom, become a duchess, whatever. However, she is trying to get a divorce so that she can have her independence. It was really good. I actually really enjoyed it. Again, 4 stars. I am excited because Sarah MacLean's next series is gonna have the other two, I think the other 3 sisters maybe, in the Sophie Seraphina family. So I'm excited for that. It should be a good time. So those are all of Sarah MacLean's books. The last romance that I read was, spoiler alert, by Olivia Dade. I'd been wanting to read this one for a very long time, but I knew I like had to be in the right mind space because it just is too on brand for me. So it is about Marcus, what is his name? Marcus Castor-Roop, who is the like big heartthrob in this show about like, it's a Greek mythology show. He plays Aeneas, and it's like based off of this book series that's very popular. I would love to read this book series that it's based off of. But that is besides the point. The point is that he hates what the showrunners have like done to the show, especially in the last season. And so he started actually writing fan fiction about his show, but he has to do it in secret because he doesn't want to get in trouble. So he writes fan fiction under this like fake name, and he becomes like best friends with this girl on the site whose name is April Whittier. April is a huge fan of the show. She's been writing fan fiction for a very long time, and yeah, she's like best friends with this guy on the site, and she doesn't know who he is at all. Well, one day she decides to do some cosplay and post it on Twitter, and it ends up getting like retweeted. However, people have some problems because she is plus sized, and so people are like, this character would never be plus size. Stupid. Marcus, not knowing this is his internet best friend, ends up inviting April onto a date because he's like, screw you guys, I think she looks great, and she obviously is a big fan of the show. So they go on a date together and sparks fly. I thought that it was very cute. I just absolutely loved it. I may have projected a little bit too much onto it. It's fine, we're not going to talk about it. I just thought that their relationship was really interesting. Again, biggest problem with a lot of romances is when they do have like a miscommunication that just seems very unnecessary. I did give it 4.5 stars though. It was like nearly perfect. It was like so close to being perfect because I love the way that they like talk to each other and they like kind of learned like, oh, this is how we need to communicate with each other. So I really like that it had that aspect of like growing and learning, and I just thought that their relationship was so stinking cute, and they write it's so good. April, living my dream. Moving on. Next for the YA contemporaries. First one that I read was Love and Olives by Jenna Evans Welch. This is the 3rd book in a like companion series, so you don't have to have read the other books definitely not, which starts with Love and Gelato and then Love and Luck and now Love and Olives. And I gave this one 4 stars. I thought it was super cute. So it's about this girl named Liv whose father is an Atlantis hunter. He's Greek. He's from Greece. He moved to America, married Liv's mother, and then he ended up leaving to go find Atlantis, or that's what she thinks. She ends up going to Santorini to help him with this like documentary, and she learns like a lot about like her family history and things like that. I just really, really enjoyed this series overall. I wasn't that big a fan of Love and Luck, but I really liked Love and Gelato. I love the way it like talks about the history of these places that they go to. There is definitely some romance in there with Liv and her father's like a kind of apprentice, and he's like a wannabe filmmaker. He's like helping with the documentary. I think that the two of them have like this really great relationship. Overall, I just thought it was so stinking cute. I really enjoyed my time reading it. And it was a cute contemporary. And it made me want to go to Santorini. So, if you see me in Greece, that's why. I then read Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. I actually vlogged while reading this, so if you want to see my 24-hour reading vlog where I read this one. Took me a long time to read it, not because it was bad, just because I had 0 attention span this month. This book is about a girl named Emily who's like very quiet, very shy, doesn't really do a lot. One summer, her best friend Sloane, who's like the risk-taking one, she disappears and leaves Emily a list of things to do, and Emily believes that if she completes this list, her friend will return. So she goes and has a more Sloane-like summer, and it's a good time. It's a ton of fun. There's a little bit of a romance. I didn't love the romance, so I gave it 4 stars instead of 5 stars because like very easily could have been a like very fun 5-star contemporary because it was just so good. I really liked seeing Emily's like natural progression as she like learns to become more confident. I love seeing that in my books. Also, there's a lot of like playlists, which I love that Morgan Matson has those in her books. Then for my single YA fantasy, I still can't believe I only read one YA fantasy. That is just so unlike me. But for my single YA fantasy, I read The Camelot Betrayal, which is the sequel to Guinevere Deception, I think is what it's called, by Kirsten White. I ended up giving it 3 stars. Unfortunately, didn't love it. The series is a King Arthur retelling, but Guinevere is actually the daughter of Merlin, and she is sent to Camelot to protect Arthur. But magic is banned, so she has to do it kind of in secret, even though Arthur knows that she's magic. And there ends up just being a lot more to it than just that. I think my biggest problem, so first of all, there's just so much pining that just, I don't know, something about the pining I just wasn't vibing with. I normally love a good story with some like pining, but it was a little too much in this. Also, I said last month when I read the first one, if you're gonna make Lancelot a girl, the book should be queer. So far, we're on the second one. It's still not queer, so definitely took points off for that. Finally, the last 2 books I read are actually for an upcoming vlog that are coming out Sunday, May 9th, I think. Yeah, Sunday, May 9th. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that one. So good at plugging myself. So I'm not going to go too into detail about these books, but the first one that I read was If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I gave it 5 stars. It is a murder mystery that takes place at a Shakespearean conservatory program. That's all you really need to know. It was great. I had some great commentary about theater school. So just tons of Shakespeare, which I always love. And the second book that I read for that vlog is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. This is a post-pandemic book. It was written in 2014. It just got a little too real. I'm gonna be super honest. It got way too real at times. Post a pandemic, so it's like a dystopian. I'm very glad that our pandemic didn't turn out the way this pandemic did, but it is kind of loosely follows this girl who travels with like a traveling theater and symphony troupe, which was super cool. Probably what I would end up doing if I lived in a post-pandemic world like this. It was a good time. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I don't know if I gave it a higher rating because it was like very relatable and very real, or if I gave it a lower rating because it was too relatable and too real. I haven't quite figured that out yet. So yeah, there we go. Those were the 15 books that I read in the month of April. It was a good time. I had a lot of fun reading all these historical romances. If you've read any of these books, please let me know your thoughts down below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to hit subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and until next time, bye!